It's the Whitetail Crossing Convenience Store Race Report on Cool Gold 1460 with Dan the Boy Steicher and Billy Doc Niles, brought to you by Whitetail Crossing Convenience Stores in Baraboo, Black River Falls, and Toma. By Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem, and 3rd Street, downtown La Crosse. By Dean Satellite and Security, your local DirecTV retailer. By the Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center on French Island, La Crosse. By Dell's Raceway Park in Wisconsin Dells. By Weir's Machine and Racing Products in Bangor, Wisconsin. And by J. Teach Longshots Grill and Saloon in historic downtown West Salem. Now here's Doc and Dan with today's report.
Hi, race fans. It's Saturday, and it's time for the race report. None other like it here in about a 3-state radius. Along with Billy Doc Niles and Radio Man Dan Diker, this is the Whitetail Crossing Community Stores Race Report on 1460 WBOG. CoolGold1460.com and the TuneIn app.
Love that TuneIn app.
Gentlemen, another fantastic, well, Bill wasn't there. He was watching some old decrepit Ozzy guy in the woods someplace.
That was on Friday night. I went from
what worse band did you see Saturday?
I went from the Prince of Darkness on Friday night to the Prince of the Red Plastic Cup on Saturday night.
It got worse. We saw some of the best racing again at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway this past weekend.
But I did get to see it on the replay on KQEG TV, which
Thursdays
is also
and
on
Sundays
YouTube. Yeah.
at 7 o'clock. And Jesse just put up our latest show on YouTube a couple of weeks ago. Look up Seven Rivers Racing. Coming up in today's program, we're going to get in-depth with the La Crosse Speedway. Tonight, 220-lap late model features at the La Crosse Speedway. Everybody else running one. Then we're done till Oktoberfest. We're going to break down what the points look like both locally and nationally wise. Also in the program, Paul Reichert had a chance to go down to the pits, talk to the contour kid, Dakota Miller, going from a street stock to a sportsman this year. We're going to hear from the Ellsmatron. I love Jerry Ellsworth. What a guy he is.
The first one to come out in the Outlaws class with a modified looking vehicle. He took his race car and decided, I keep banging in the fenders every week. Let's make it look different. And it's pretty cool. It spawned another one. It spawned a couple more, and that's been one of the classes I've enjoyed watching over the years.
Also, third in points in the very, very wild Hornet division, Caleb Hyan is going to be joining us in the program via Paul Reichert as well. Last Saturday night, Jacob Gady came down from a little town called Carver, Minnesota, paid the La Crosse Speedway a win, and walked away with his first ever feature win at La Crosse.
He's been trying for years. I mean, we've seen how close he's come to an Oktoberfest feature win, battling Fredrickson and Majeski the last few years. And that earlier this year, it looked like he had his first La Crosse feature win in the bag. Car gave up on him. He ended up in 5th. And, had a week off in his schedule from up north, popped in, and all things worked out well for him. He ended up with his first feature win at La Crosse.
Paul Reichert was with me as we interviewed the top three at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. It was Jacob Gady holding off Mike Carlson and Brad Powell at the La Crosse Speedway last weekend. Here's what the top three had to say. I'll tell you what, these three machines just top creme de la creme out of the field tonight and evenly spaced for the last 7 laps.
Yeah, car was good tonight. Jake and Mike, they both had good races. Track was fast tonight. It was fun.
And you talked in the past couple of weeks about having some loose positions on the racetrack. This is one of the best lines I've seen you run in quite a while. I mean, the car was really working for you.
Oh, yeah, it was really good.
All righty, third place tonight for BP Brad Powell, your quick time qualifier, and second place for a podium finish tonight. How about it for Mike Carlson? Not a bad night tonight for you, Mr. Mark Carlson.
Yeah, a couple lap cars got in the way. One really screwed me up there, but I got to hand it to Gady. He's pretty quick. Thanks for Brad, letting me kind of giving me a chance there. But no, the car's pretty quick. Hopefully next week it's a little bit quicker. Nice. Thanks for everybody coming out. Especially long night here.
Big week coming up next week. 220 lappers.
I don't know. That's gonna be hard. Can we have 4 tires for that for each? Because I need some tires, but especially after night. But should be good. Next week, end of the year here till Oktoberfest, should be good.
All right, how about a second place for Mike Carlson? Feature race winner coming to us back from Carver, Minnesota. He's the Minnesota NASCAR state champ, Jacob Gady. Good to see you back on the racetrack. You started the season here quick time qualifying, your second time back feature race win.
Yeah, it feels amazing. I didn't know if we weren't really for sure on coming down here, but kind of a late week decision to come down, and I'm really glad we did. We were hoping we made it better at Elko, or we improved at Elko, and we thought it was going to be better here, and it was a lot better. I'm really glad we came.
2 fast time qualifiers right behind you. How much mirror and scoreboard watching were you doing?
I wanted the race to end. The car was pretty good, though. It would have been okay if it was a little longer, but I was happy to see the checker nonetheless. Those guys were fast. I was surprised I was able to get by Mike there, or ran him down actually, and pass him. So I was happy with that, and real happy to come home with the win.
220s next week. Going to be back?
I got to run Elko. I'm leading in points there. I gotta stay home and try and get a championship there again. So I gotta thank my sponsors, Baby Gaudi, Northern Racing Products, Mergic Racing Engines, HEI Collision Center, Carver Automotive. Without those guys, I couldn't be out here. And thanks to Jim for coming along tonight. We were really short on help, so it was just me and Jim in the pits, and we made it happen.
How about a race fans feature race winner, Jacob Gady? More interesting than Jacob Gady, who was, I was interviewing him, matter of fact, wearing his 2014 Minnesota NASCAR National Championship outfit, which Paul Reichert is going for another this year with a point lead. Nick Panitsky walked away with a 4th place finish. Steve Carlson 6th. And he's got the point lead now.
Yeah, Nick had a great night like he usually has. Steve kind of struggled, especially in the feature. So now we're back to Nick being back on top by just 1 point, and it's going to be an interesting finish here.
Steve Carlson, Billy Doc Niles, you brought up during the TV show, not having the season that he has seen the past 4 years at lacrosse.
Actually, it's been about the last 3 or 4 weeks that he's not been having good. You know, we talked to him at the beginning of the year about he welcomed the competition, and he's got the competition, and for some reason that car just has not been up to Steve Carlson standards the last few weeks. He's been starting in heat races. He's been not in the fast dash, not in the top 3 in qualifying, and it shows. I mean, he had a nice 20-plus point lead. That's evaporated. Now he's down by 1 with 3 features left to go.
All right, when we return, we're going to break down what happened last Saturday with the Sportsmen, and we're going to talk more about the Thunderstocks and the points for the Hornets, Minivan, Straight Stocks. It's going to be a wide-open forum between the 3 of us coming up right here on the Whitetail Crossing Convenience Stores Race Report.
Are you looking for comfort under the sun? You can find that and a whole lot more with your stay at the Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center on French Island, La Crosse. The Days Inn has 148 spacious rooms, an indoor pool, hot tub, fitness room, and plenty of banquet space to host that big meeting or wedding reception. If you're hungry, food and drink are just steps away at the Heroes Bar and Grill inside the hotel. So if you're planning a pool party, wedding reception, or just want a night away in a jacuzzi suite, Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center on French Island is your stop under the sun.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Jerry Beyer here, and I'm pleased to announce that we have opened a new location. Now you'll find our Big Boar Cook Shack parked on the corner of George and Gillette Street every Wednesday through Sunday. So come on over and sink your teeth into the barbecue voted best in La Crosse County. Don't forget takeout.
And just come on down for the best food in town at Big Boar Barbecue.
Big Boar Barbecue, that's a mouthful.
In a hurry, it's easy to stop. Whitetail Crossing and Smoke Shop. You're gonna like the things we've got. Whitetail Crossing and Smoke Shop. It's easy to see when you're on the go. There's only one name you need to know.
Baraboo, Black River Falls, Nakusa, Toma, Wittenberg.
Whitetail Crossing and Smoke Shop.
Here we go, back to the Whitetail Crossing Convenience Store Race Report with Doc and Dan.
Welcome back to the Whitetail Crossing Convenience Stores Race Report here on 1460 WBOG. For those listening online all over the world, we welcome you in as well. That is CoolGold1460.com and the TuneIn app.
Love that TuneIn app.
You know, North Carolina was represented again last week. I don't know who it was. There were 9 people from the big state of NC listening to the program.
That's because they know where good racing is. It's right here in Wisconsin.
That's exactly right. Dan Diker and Billy Knock Niles, Paul Reichert rejoining you again as we jump right back into La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. A big night tonight, and some points races could be solidified tonight. Not sure. Street stocks, maybe not. Sportsmen, possibly not. Late models,
definitely not.
220 lappers coming your way, Billy.
That's going to be fun. A 1-point lead between Paninsky and Carlson. This is pretty much the two that have been dominating the class. So looking forward to seeing how this plays out tonight.
All right, so for the average race fan, the starting grid for the first feature is in and done. Say it's Paninsky, Carlson, and Carlson. What makes it more interesting, where do the top three line up for the second feature?
It depends on the draw. I mean, they do the draw every week.
Right.
You see the draw every week for after qualifying. It's 8 plus the number. I believe it's they're going to reinvert the top 12 for the second feature. So it just depends on what number he pulls. He could be starting as good as 7th. He could be starting as worse as 12th. So you never know.
And you could possibly find, if you look at the winners we've had this year, first-timers Nick Paninsky, Jesse Poxick, Ty Reedy, Jacob Gady, you could see another first-time winner in that second feature.
Oh, most definitely. There's tons of guys who haven't won a feature yet this year. Not so much just a first-time feature win. Nick Clements hasn't won a feature this year, having a great year coming back to late models. Cole Holland have a phenomenal season, running third in points right now. Brad Powell hasn't won a feature. All the podium finishes he's had this year hasn't won a feature. So
Adam Degenhart could squeak back in.
Adam Degenhart. It just depends on how this shakes out, man. If they pull a 6 for either one of them races, and they start the fast guys all the way back in the 6th row, if you go clean, green to checkered like a couple of weeks ago with Ty Reedy, you could possibly see a different winner.
So, again, now that is what we're looking at with Nick Paninsky leading Steve Carlson by 1 point with 2 20-lap features coming your way tonight. To the Sportsman we go, and 20 points now separates Randy Humfeld from his closest rival, Brad Worthen. Randy Humfeld picked up his 4th feature win of the year last year. He matches Brad Worthen, was second-place finish last week. He also has 4 wins. Steve Bachman finishes 3rd. This one, I think, is going to get really interesting, especially tonight. The words blocking have come out, and all the different drivers that have come out, and people spinning out at the wrong times have come out. Why can't we just watch the top two have fun battling each other out with all this other crap being thrown in?
I really don't know. Why this stuff has to happen. I have no idea. It kind of ruins the race and makes it. I just don't like seeing it.
20 points, Billy Knock Niles.
20 points. The way them two have been running, they just seem to always find their way up to the front. It's going to be awful hard for Worthen to chop 20 points away with 2 features left to go. This could be, unless Humfeld has something terribly bad happen to him, that car in particular is going to win like its 4th or 5th championship in a row with 2 different drivers.
Yes or no, does Adam Moore win the Thunderstock division?
Oh, most definitely. Yes. He's just on cruise control. We talked about it on the TV show. The dream season. I mean, he's won 7 features, and then you got 4 or 5 guys that have each won 1. All he has to do is just keep it, like we said, keep it in cruise control earlier, and he's going to be just fine winning that championship.
Looking at the chase, it's going to narrow this week big time again. For the late models, it's Steve Carlson, Nick Paninsky, Cole Howland, Mike Carlson, Nick Clements, and Jesse Poxick. 2 more will be eliminated tonight. The Final 4 battle at Oktoberfest. I can't even tell you out of those names who's going to win that thing.
Yeah, the loss of Justin and Matt last Saturday night has really, really tightened things up. This is the tightest the Chase Championship has ever been, so you really got to be on your A game this week to make that Final 4.
Billy Knock Niles in the Sportsman. It's down to Randy Humfeld, Brad Worth, and Steve Bachman going for his 3rd. Jeff Thompson, Adam Oxborough, and Mark Lethe. 4 drivers will be eligible for the title Oktoberfest race weekend. Wouldn't it be something if newcomer Adam Oxborough walked away with a Chase Championship?
Oh, I think that would be awesome. He won his first career feature just a couple of weeks ago. Been probably one of the more consistent guys. Amazingly, he's only had 1 bad accident compared to the rest of them guys
early this year.
Yet he's sitting. What is he sitting 3rd in points? I believe.
3rd in points.
Having a great season for his second full-time season at La Crosse. He's not out of this by any means. I think you got to think Worthen, Humfeld, and Bachman are a lock. Then it's a battle between them other 3 to see who that 4th guy is going to be coming in.
And again, that's Thompson, Oxborough, and Lethe. Real quickly, Street Stocks run again tonight. Chris Sampson has a 2-point lead over John Aaron. John, we wish you some speedy recoveries, man. He's been ill for the past 3 weeks. He lost the point lead because the trailer race in the Street Stocks. He has a 2-point lead. Dakota Miller, who we're going to talk to here in a minute, may not be coming back to run that tonight. So Chris Sampson may be locking up his first track championship and a feature win and the track record holder.
It's not the way you want to lose a track championship, John. You know, I feel for you, but sometimes your health is a lot more important than any track championship will ever be. And, you know, you say Dakota probably isn't going to race either. You're looking at, what, about a 30-point difference now between the two that are remaining in the top?
Yeah, 34 points.
It's all he has to do is just, you know, stay out of trouble and cruise, and he's going to get himself a track championship.
Hornets, it's Mark Bornitz, Jimmy Bjorkman, Caleb Vian, Brandon Lemoyne, and Cheyenne Stanfield. Nice to see a couple of the Fems in the top 5. Matter of fact, the Lemoyne and Stanfield are tied for 4th and 5th. So that one's going to be interesting coming down to Fest as well. In the Outlaws, it's Jason Bolster leading Jerry Ellsworth by 4, but we all know what happens at Oktoberfest when you talk Outlaws.
Oh, yeah. You get drivers coming from all over, and that makes things really interesting at Oktoberfest for the Outlaws. So that championship is nowhere near settled.
Does Dan Young show up and try and break his track record? Does somebody put some more cash up and make him start a lap behind to see if he can win the feature again?
That was Volden doing the TV show. I couldn't remember. It was Volden Construction did that to Dan Young, gave him $100 for starting in the back, and he won it.
That was not only in the back, but a complete lap down, and he came around and took the lead and won that at the end. That was fun to watch. I got to sit down in turn 1 that night and watch that. That was fun to watch.
Minivans, if you haven't heard, they have been added to the Enduro, so they will be running the Enduro and Oktoberfest. Matt Moore has a 10-point lead over Mike Peters. Peters, more experienced driver on the minivans, but Matt Moore has got a lot of time on that action track quarter mile.
Yeah, I think experience is going to play off there. Peters has been running pretty consistent, but nothing's going to beat the experience of Moore on that quarter mile.
Closest point battle in over 20 years at the La Crosse Speedway for late models.
Yeah, well, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, it's close. Of course, we all remember the battle between Sean Paff and Jay Herbst that went down to Oktoberfest the end of 2010. I hope it gets just as exciting now as it was back then.
All righty, when we come back, we're going to hear from Mr. Jerry Ellsworth in the Elsmatron. Going to hear from Dakota Miller. We're going to find out exactly what could be in store for him with the Street Stocks and Sportsman tonight. Caleb Ian will join us as well on the program. Billy Doc Niles, Paul Reichert, myself, Dan Eicher. We'll be right back with more right here in the Whitetail Crossing Community Stores Race Report.
Come on in. Welcome to JT's Long Shots in West Salem. We're Trisha and Jim.
It's your new sports bar for watching all your favorite sports. Happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 7, with $1.75 domestics and rails. For lunch or dinner, the kitchen is open. Half-price burgers on Mondays. Tuesday, it's bone or boneless wings. Fish tacos on Friday. Stop after the races tonight to hear live music. It's Joe Cody from 8 to midnight.
Jim and I'd love to see you at JT's Long Shots Sports Bar, downtown West Salem.
For the best family entertainment value in the Dells area, look no further than Dells Raceway Park. Kids 9 and under are always free. Exciting stock car racing every Saturday night where the stars of tomorrow are racing today in late models, modified, sportsman, bandits, and more. Check the schedule online at DellsRacewayPark.com. Take a free tour of the pits and a lap around the track on race night in DRP's trolley car. Gates open at 4, qualifying at 5:30, green flag racing at 7. Don't miss the excitement every Saturday night at Dells Raceway Park. We're the best in the Midwest race.
Spring, spring, spring. Now that it's spring, no one wants to sit inside and watch TV with it so beautiful outside. And when you get DirecTV through Dean Satellite and Security, you don't have to. You can now take your TV with you into the great outdoors with the free mobile app from DirecTV. Going on a picnic? Take your TV with you. Sitting by the lake? Don't miss your favorite show. It's really that simple. Call your local friends at Dean Satellite and Security today at 608-269-2897 or visit them online at deanstv.com. Now get outside and watch your TV. Content, channels, and functionality varies by TV package, viewing location, and device. Data charges may apply. Conditions apply. Call for details.
Weir's Machine and Racing Products, Bangor, Wisconsin, a proud supporter of the local racing, celebrating 20 years in the racing industry. From dirt tracks to asphalt, Weir's Machine manufactures over 400 quality parts that racers rely on to win races, producing some of the finest parts in the industry. From engine parts, tools, suspension parts, to race accessories. Head to Weir'sMachine.com to browse their entire line or call them direct. Weir's Machine and Racing Products, Bangor, Wisconsin.
It's Team Dean time as the Whitetail Crossing Convenience Store Race Report continues on Cool Gold 1460.
Welcome back to Whitetail Crossing Convenience Stores Race Report here in 1460 WBOG. Again, that is coolgold1460.com and the
TuneIn app.
Love that TuneIn app. And what I do really like more than the TuneIn app is, well, because it's food. I've got to discuss some food
shocking,
here. We're going to talk wings and JT's Long Shots.
JT's Long Shots. We love the wings there. But race fans, JT's Long Shots has your ticket to the Oktoberfest race weekend. Stop in after the races or anytime during the week with your ticket stub or your pit pass. Put your name and your phone number on the back of it. Drop it in the bin. This September, JT's will draw one lucky winner out of the bin. That winner will win a pair of 4-day passes to the Oktoberfest race weekend. That's JT's Long Shots in historic downtown West Salem.
Paul Riker, what is the name of this segment, by the way?
Well, the segment?
Wow, we caught him napping.
Yep.
It's the Team Dean segment. You've been a part of this program the entire year. Didn't even know where we were at.
You know when he turns the radio on? Right before his segment.
Man, it turns it off right when it's done. Just like NASCAR racing, I watched the first 5 and the last 5. Team Dean segment featuring outlaw driver Jerry Ellsworth.
How you doing, Jerry?
Oh, we're doing great today. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Okay. So let's see what you've been racing out here over the years out here at La Crosse. Various race cars we've seen you in action here.
Yeah, early I started on Thunderstock division. I raced there from 2003 till like 2006. I did fairly well. Finished third in the points. Won some awards there. Had a really good time. Moved up to Sportsman division in 2009 and ran that for a couple years. Had a good time and eventually got into the Outlaws, and that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, and I think this is your second time around with the modified here that you race?
Yeah, I built the car originally, and then I sold it to Wayne Smith, and he ran it for a couple years in the division here and did quite well too. But I decided to get it back. He wanted to get rid of it, and I told him, well, if you ever do, I'd like a chance at it back. So I got the old girl back, and we're having some fun.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I think we know this car as the Elsmatron, they say. Is that your nickname, Dan's nickname?
Yeah,
Whose is that?
well, I call me the Elsmatron, and this is, I guess, the Elzinator, what they call that. So that's one of Dan's things. He came up with the Elzinator, and it's kind of stuck, and it's kind of a unique car. The kids love it, it kind of sticks out, so it's kind of a neat deal.
Now, you said you built this modified here?
Well, it was a sportsman car to begin with.
Okay.
And I ran it in Outlaws, and in Oktoberfest, I tore the fenders off the dang thing, and I thought, I'm sick of repairing panels and tearing panels and putting panels on. So I put Nerf bars on the sides, redid the front end, and made it more into like a modified. So it's a little friendlier user friendly. It'll take a few hits there and here and there, and it looks different. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's. I think I remember Cole Schulze ran the late models here, and actually ended up, I guess, converting his into a modified that ran out here. Yep. And what can this modified do here? How well does this race out here?
It races really well. It's like I say, it's a metric sportsman chassis. It's a Dan Speed Shop chassis, but it's got the quick change rear end where you can change gears and you can mess with the suspension a little bit here and there. And it's just a fun little car for this track, for the quarter-mile track.
Mm-hmm. And have you thought about ever taking this? Can this race at other places like the month of modifieds at Toma, or maybe when they race once in a while the Dells?
Yeah,
have you thought about it?
I don't know about the Dells so much, but I think maybe up in Sparta, I think I could maybe possibly run up there, and I've thought about that. So yeah, it's kind of kicked that around.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you got some great sponsors probably helping you out here. Got to recognize them.
Yeah, sure. I got Home and Custom and Collision. I work for Bob up at Home and Custom and Collision, and he's helped me out for a number of years. And I got Tom Corish here. His son Todd. Oh, yes. Todd raced late model out here for many years, and Tom helps me out a lot. So it's kind of a fun thing him and I can do part-time and kind of stay into racing a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, thanks a lot for the time, Jerry. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Billy Doc Niles, he's raced there darn near as long as you have the La Crosse Speedway. Have you ever seen Jerry without a smile?
Oh, Jerry's always happy. Even on his worst night, he's a happy-go-lucky guy. He was one of the first ones to come out in the Outlaws with a modified-looking car. He got sick of pounding the fenders out, so he turned it into a modified. Had a couple of others look like his car, so we pretty much call him an innovator when it comes to that outlaw class.
Talking about an innovator, this guy has raised, our next guest has raised Hornets, Thunderstocks, Outlaws, and he's also in a sportsman and a street stock. And Paul Reichert had a chance to talk to, I call him the contour kid, Dakota Miller.
Just a few races here for you late in the season here, getting into the sportsman here. What made you want to get into the sportsman here?
I ran last year at Oktoberfest, and it ended up not being so well at the end of the Oktoberfest after we ran the Mid-Am race. But my brother runs out here in the sportsman division as well.
Okay, and let's see. Of course, remember you in the Thunderstocks. I think in the Hornets too. Also, I think you've even run the street stocks here recently. What just brings you out here over and over again to come out here and race lacrosse?
It's kind of been a family affair. I grew up in racing. Everybody in my family other than my sister has been racing, so it just kind of keeps going.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we all know about remember Caleb, and no doubt he inspired you to keep going in racing, probably. So, what great memories do you have about him?
I got my greatest memory of racing with him is following him to his first Thunderstock win for his heat race. I followed him right to it. I kind of had a chance to go for it, and I had more fun following him.
Yeah. And of course, I think it was a few years ago you were contending for the Thunderstocks championship here, if I remember right.
Back in 2012, I ended up getting second place in Thunderstock, and I won novelty champion and dash championship.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy ending to that Thunderstock championship at Oktoberfest here.
That it was. It was down to 2 laps to go in the feature, 2 points apart, so it came right down to the last minute.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I've heard rumors about this car. It used to be probably one that Chris Webber drove. Where'd you come up with this car?
It is. It used to be owned by Chris Webber. Andy Burrows bought it from him, and I recently got it off from him.
Okay. And any plans possibly going full-time next season, or still just dabbling with the idea?
We're just talking on how things are going right now and just trying to see what we can do for now. But family to me is first, and I got to make sure I got plenty of family time.
Okay. And any sponsors you want to thank getting this effort here, or on the street stock as well?
I would like to thank Modern Disposal, Advantage Auto Salvage, Critter Did Fab. Definitely got to thank my family, Chris Sampson, Brad Cleveland, Dakota Goldnick, just anybody and everybody. I got a great amount of help behind me.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the time, Dakota. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Still part of the Team Dean segment right there. Paul Reichert talking to Dakota Miller. I tell you what, the first couple of weeks, he's been out there for 4 weeks now. Looks like he's been running that sportsman the entire season.
Yeah, with the exception of a couple of mishaps, he could have a couple top 3 and another top 5 so far in the brief 2 or 3 weeks he's raced. So he's caught on to the sportsman stuff real quick.
Think he could vie for a championship next year?
If he does run full-time, I'd like to see that happen. I think he could.
Want to thank Jerry Ellsworth and Dakota Miller for joining us on the program, part of the Team Dean segment, and Paul Reichert doing a great job chasing down drivers. Paul's going to be back in the next segment, Billy Doc, because he's going to talk to Kayla Vian, the Cotton Candy Kid, and man, what an impressive year she's had.
She's doing really great in that Hornet class, and it's been fun to watch her. She's in the middle of the points, and we're going to get a chance to talk to her in the next segment right here on Cool Gold 1460 WBOG.
Come on in. Welcome to JT's Long Shots in West Salem. We're Tricia and Jim.
It's your new sports bar for watching all your favorite sports. Happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 7, with $1.75 domestics and rails. For lunch or dinner, the kitchen is open. Half-price burgers on Mondays. Tuesday, it's bone or boneless wings. Fish tacos on Friday. Stop after the races tonight to hear live music. It's Joe Cody from 8 to midnight.
Jim and I'd love to see you at JT's Long Shots Sports Bar, downtown West Salem.
In a hurry, it's easy to stop. Whitetail Crossing and Smoke Shop. You're gonna like the things we've got. Whitetail Crossing and Smoke Shop. It's easy to see when you're on the go. There's only one name you need to know.
Baraboo, Black River Falls, Nakusa, Toma, Wittenberg.
Whitetail Crossing and Smoke Shop.
Spring. Now that it's spring, no one wants to sit inside and watch TV with it so beautiful outside. And when you get DirecTV through Dean's Satellite and Security, you don't have to. You can now take your TV with you into the great outdoors with the free mobile app from DirecTV. Going on a picnic? Take your TV with you. Sitting by the lake? Don't miss your favorite show. It's really that simple. Call your local friends at Dean's Satellite and Security today at 608-269-2897 or visit them online at deanstv.com. Now get outside and watch your TV. Content, channels, and functionality varies by TV package, viewing location, and device. Data charges may apply. Conditions apply. Call for details.
Weir's Machine and Racing Products, Bangor, Wisconsin. A proud supporter of the local racing, celebrating 20 years in the racing industry. From dirt tracks to asphalt, Weir's Machine manufactures over 400 quality parts that racers rely on to win races, producing some of the finest parts in the industry. From engine parts, tools, suspension parts, to race accessories. Head to Weir'sMachine.com to browse their entire line or call them direct. Weir's Machine and Racing Products, Bangor, Wisconsin.
It's the Abbott and Costello of short track racing. Doc and Dan on Cool Gold 1460.
Dan Diker, Billy Doc Niles, and we think it's Paul Reichert. This is the Whitetail Crossing Convenience Stores Race Report here on 1460 WPOG. Billy Doc, just a couple of hours away from what could be the biggest late model 20-lap features of the entire 2017 season.
This has been a great late model points battle. We talked about it all year. Carlson wanted the competition. Now he's got it. Paninsky, I mean, the last few years he's been able to distance himself between, Mike Carlson and Brad Powell. This year he can't shake Paninsky. He thought it started to look like it was. He's hit on hard times the last few weeks, and now it's a 1-point, battle, and he's behind for the first time in a long time. And this is going to be probably, I think, a deciding factor. It may come down to Oktoberfest, but 2 20-lap features tonight. It's all about where you start and the breaks you get.
Another one that's going to be coming up here that's going to be one to watch for the championship is the Hornet division at the La Crosse Speedway. Mark Bornett's trying to nail down yet another in a car that he's had for, I think he's raced that one for 11 straight years. Chasing him down is young Jimmy Bjorkman from West Salem. He's 15 points back. Caleb Vian, 19 back. And a tie now for 4th and 5th between Brandon Lemoyne, last week's feature winner, and Cheyenne Stanfield out of Sparta. Not sure if they have it. Both of them are 27 points back. Jimmy Bjorkman, 15 back. Caleb Vian is only 19 back. And what do you think? Is there going to be legitimate 5 to Oktoberfest, or maybe just legitimate 2?
I'm thinking 3 to 5. I think Jimmy's got a great shot. I mean, he won the Oktoberfest feature last year. Kayla's had a good season, although she kind of stumbled a little bit on Saturday night. And Cheyenne and Brandon, of course, with his win last week, they might play a factor in this championship.
Do got to send out condolences as well to Sean McCarthy, man. That was a nasty wreck. I happened to be calling that race on the deck next to the KQE GT camera last week, Billy Doc Niles, when he got punched into the back straightaway wall. That was a nasty wreck. And from what he was telling me, was totally unconscious. He had no clue even what happened and still can't recollect that nasty hit.
Yeah, on TV, you alluded to earlier, I wasn't there. Even on TV, that looked like a bad hit. And then they cut to a commercial, and Jesse explained that he got hauled away. So you knew something was wrong when you hit that hard. And hopefully Sean gets better soon, and we can see him up by Oktoberfest.
Well, Paul Reichert had a chance to talk with the young lady that was behind that wreck just when she was going out of turn 2. The wreck happened just in front of her, and that is the Cotton Candy Kid, Kayla Vian.
Kayla, good to see you.
Great to see you, too.
Okay, so tell us about how long you've been racing out here, different divisions. I think I remember Thunder Stocks and currently in the Hornets here.
Yep, I'm currently racing my second year in the Hornet division. I previously raced in Thunderstock. I raced approximately 4 or 5 years in the Thunderstock division before I decided to move down to Hornets, so I had a little more free time.
Mm-hmm. And this is just like fun class for you, not so much work like the Thunderstock was?
No, I actually really like this division. I'm glad I chose to come down to Hornets. There's a lot more car count, so I have a lot more fun competing. We're sitting second in points, so we're having a really great season so far.
Yep, and of course, your family's pretty well known around here. Rick Steinhoff, Randy Steinhoff, of course, races out here. I think you said Randy's your dad.
Yep.
And Rick's your uncle.
Yep.
How did their influence get you involved in racing here? Spending Saturday nights out here, watching them race, must have wanted you to get involved in racing eventually.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember ever since I could walk, I was always at the racetrack, and I was always here supporting my dad and my uncle, and ever since I was a kid, I wanted to drive myself. So as soon as I turned 16, I was out here in a Thunderstock.
Okay. And that must have been when you said, Dad, I want to go racing, or how much did Dad or an uncle help you out, or did you have friends helping you out here when you first got started?
My dad helped me out a little bit. Also, my husband, he's been here every year, getting my car ready, working on it, keeping me going.
And like I said, you're second in the Hornet points here, contending for the championship. And how much is there any pressure, or how big would this championship be for you?
It's starting to be a big deal. I really didn't plan on competing as much as I am this year, but now sitting second, we really want to go for that championship. So we're hoping to have a couple good nights here, maybe get that.
Yeah, and got some great sponsors on here, you got to thank, because you couldn't do this without them.
Yeah, definitely. I want to thank Slice of Chicago out of Sparta, Wisconsin, Fechner Motors out of West Salem. What else do I got?
Oh yeah, we'll go to the car here and take a look.
Also, Farah Graphics. They're the reason why my car looks as beautiful as it does.
It does.
And I got one more here. Riverside Custom and Collision out of Bangor as well.
All right, well, Kayla, keep up the good work this season. Hopefully we'll be talking about a championship before Oktoberfest comes around.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
All right.
Nice job, Paul Reichert, talking to Kayla Vian. You know, Billy Doc Niles, Kayla Vian's one of those that, man, when she has had a year of struggles, she's had a year of struggles. We've seen that car battered, torn up, beaten. We've seen her frustrations in social media. We've seen them at the racetrack. I've talked to her in person. But things have really, really shaped up for her this year, only being 19 points back.
This year, she started out kind of slow. I thought slow at the beginning of the year. I watched opening night where she didn't even make it out of the heat race, qualify out of the heat race into the feature. Goes out, wins the B main, then comes from the back to finish third in the feature. That's kind of the up and down she's had this year. She stumbled a little bit last week. That's why she's a few points back. But as we've seen, a stumble by somebody, and all of a sudden that points are all jumbled up. So, like Paul alluded to earlier, it'd be nice to see a 3 to 5 car battle come Oktoberfest.
The other thing is as I alluded to this before Paul's interview with Caleb, anybody out of the Hornet class can win. Just because Mark Bornitz is sitting on top, he's only won 2 features this year out of the entire racing season. For Bjorkman, Vian, Lemoyne, and Stanfield, I think things can be completely wide open. Only 27 points separate all those drivers from the top spot, because you've got so many other Hornet drivers that can win, and there's Robbins racing going on out there.
Oh, let's not forget Patrick Tickey. He's always a factor.
Man, was he quick last week.
Yeah, that 56 car is always fast, so let's not count him out of a win at all.
Coolest thing at the La Crosse Speedway, you didn't get to see this on the KQEG TV replay last week. We qualified Hornets for the second time ever last weekend, and that was so neat to do.
I was kind of surprised. I was reading Brandon Lemoyne's Facebook post, like, what do you mean you qualified? I think he was fast qualified.
He was fast time.
What do you mean you're fast qualifier? They don't qualify Hornets, but
every single one of them, because they started lining them up, and I look at Jeff Garber's our race director, and I'm like, Jeff, are we lining up for kids' rides? Because that's a lot of Hornet cars. He said, we're qualifying. I'm like, no kidding.
That's awesome.
Every one of those drivers loved it. The race fans loved it. Everybody on social media applauded that. I wish we could do that every weekend.
I just love seeing the Hornets out there qualifying. That's they try to do that more often for them.
The only class that hasn't qualified yet this year has been the Thunderstocks. I think that I'd like to see the Thunderstocks take a shot at qualifying.
Which, I think there's usually once or twice a year, if time permits, that we have qualified Thunderstocks in the past, but you're right.
I thought they qualified them during the EVA Destruction.
Years ago, they used to qualify them during the EVA Destruction, and they used to run some of the novelty events during the EVA Destruction. I actually won the Crack the Whip place one year, driving Darren Gunnarson's El Camino one year. So I'd really like to see the Thunderstocks get another shot at qualifying.
Did you ever do the porta potty race?
No.
I would have loved to have been
great,
on the track.
I remember Leroy Hardy doing that.
I'm talking to him specifically.
Oh, him.
I would love to have watched him crawl out, get into Poper, and come back out again.
If you think I'm funny, you should have saw Leroy Harding, man. Leroy was legendary when it come to this. Some of the stuff he used to do. The one time, the most memorable one, And Leroy would spend a lot of time on the porta potty. He wasn't going for the quickest time. Leroy come running out. If you knew Leroy, if you think I'm big, Leroy was bigger. He come running out one time wearing a diaper, a baby bonnet, and carrying a bottle.
Man.
That's how much fun he had with that.
That's a visual I need to get out of this segment right now. Coming up next, Paul Reichert jumps back into the program. He's got the Burn and Rubber Race Report right here on 1460 WBOG.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Jerry Beyer here, and I'm pleased to announce that we have opened a new location. Now you'll find our Big Bore Cook Shack parked on the corner of George and July Street every Wednesday through Sunday. So come on over and sink your teeth into the barbecue voted best in La Crosse County. Don't forget takeout.
And just come on down for the best food in town at Big Bore Barbecue.
Big Bore Barbecue, that's a mouthful.
For the best family entertainment value in the Dells area, look no further than Dells Raceway Park. Kids 9 and under are always free. Exciting stock car racing every Saturday night where the stars of tomorrow are racing today in late models, modified, sportsman, bandits, and more. Check the schedule online at DellsRacewayPark.com. Take a free tour of the pits and a lap around the track on race night in DRP's trolley car. Gates open at 4, qualifying at 5:30, green flag racing at 7. Don't miss the excitement every Saturday night at Dells Raceway Park. We're the best in the Midwest race.
Come on in. Welcome to JT's Long Shots in West Salem. We're Trisha and Jim.
It's your new sports bar for watching all your favorite sports. Happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 7, with $1.75 domestics and rails. For lunch or dinner, the kitchen is open. Half-price burgers on Mondays. Tuesday, it's bone or boneless wings. Fish tacos on Friday. Stop after the races tonight to hear live music. It's Joe Cody from 8 to midnight.
Jim and I'd love to see you at JT's Long Shots Sports Bar, downtown West Salem.
In a hurry, it's easy to stop. Whitetail Crossing and Smoke Shop. You're gonna like the things we've got. Whitetail Crossing and Smoke Shop. It's easy to see when you're on the go. There's only one name you need to know.
Baraboo, Black River Falls, Nakusa, Toma, Wittenberg.
Whitetail Crossing and Smoke Shop.
Get ready. It's the Days Inn Burn and Rubber Race Report with Paul Reichert. Brought to you by the Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center on French Island, La Crosse. Now here's Paul with this week's report.
Hey there, race fans. Paul Reichert here. Got another edition of the Burn and Rubber Race Report ready to go for you after the break. Among the results we'll talk about this week, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series ran the North-South 100 in Kentucky. Kalamazoo Speedway in Michigan hosted the 25th running of the Kalamazoo Clash for Outlaw Super Late Models, and the Grand Native Sprint Car Racing took place last week. Yes, the 57th running of the Knoxville Nationals. All that and much more in the Burn and Rubber Race Report coming up next.
Are you looking for comfort under the sun? You can find that and a whole lot more with your stay at the Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center on French Island, La Crosse. The Days Inn has 148 spacious rooms, an indoor pool, hot tub, fitness room, and plenty of banquet space to host that big meeting or wedding reception. If you're hungry, food and drink are just steps away at the Heroes Bar and Grill inside the hotel. So if you're planning a pool party, wedding reception, or just want a night away in a jacuzzi suite, Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center on French Island is your stop under the sun.
Hi there, race fans. It's Paul Reichert back with you for another edition of the Burning Rubber Race Report presented by the Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center. Let's check out the racing action from this past week. We'll start with last Monday. The Corn Belt Clash Series returned to action, running in Farley, Iowa. Spencer Dierks the winner. The next night, they were in West Liberty, Iowa. Tuesday, Chris Simpson, last year's champ, the victor. Matt Shepard won the Super Dirt Car Series race at Rensselaer, New York on Tuesday. The next night on Wednesday, he won again at Merrittville Speedway in Thorold, Ontario, Canada. NASCAR Wayland Modified Tour at Thompson, Connecticut. Another win for Ryan Preece. Sweet Manufacturing Outlaw Super Late Models at Kalamazoo, Michigan for the 25th running of the Kalamazoo Clash. That went to Tyler Rohrig. ARCA CRA Super Series also ran at Kalamazoo. Travis Braden won again, third in a row. U.S. Modified Touring Series at Brown County Speedway in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Stormy Scott the winner. And the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars helped kick off the 57th running of the Knoxville Nationals on Wednesday night. That night's feature went to Kyle Larson. Thursday at State Park Speedway, CWA Stars to Legends next to last round taking place. Double features went to Jake Kapik and Mark Mackesy. Brock Heinrich won the late model feature, and Luke Fenhaus won his first ever Midwest Truck Series feature. Blue race taking place at Kaukauna. Ty Majeski won the super late model feature. Bobby Kendall's your red, white, blue champion. Jesse Bernhagen won the late model feature. He shares the late model red, white, blue title with Travis Rodewald. Warm-up for the North-South 100 for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series at Florence Speedway in Union, Kentucky on Thursday. Jimmy Owens the winner. And night 2 of the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars of the Knoxville Nationals went to David Gravel. Friday at Grundy, Billy Nippenberg won the Super Late Model feature. Griffin McGrath won the Late Model feature at Hawkeye Downs. Double features for the NASCAR Late Models at Madison. Nick Panitsky made his Madison debut. A winner won the first feature. Jeremy Miller won the second. Michael Sutter won his first ever Super Late Model feature at Marshfield. Josh Hanks to the USRA Modified feature at Mississippi Thunder. Double features for the Super Late Models at the Norway Speedway up at Dayupia, won by Tom Lindquist and Dalton Zier. Denny Schott won the Modified feature at Thomas Sparta Raceway. U.S. Modified Touring Series at Amsoil Speedway up in Superior. Jody Jensen the winner. Jimmy Mars won the Wissota Challenge Series Late Model Show at Red Cedar. And night 3 for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars of the Knoxville Nationals went to last year's champion, the Racing Cajun, Jason Johnson. Saturday at Deer Creek, another feature win in the USRA Mods for Jason Cummings. Nick Nolan won the Late Model feature at the Dells. Stephen Cheel won the Battle of Brothers in the Late Model feature at Jefferson. Jacob Gady made the trip down from the Twin Cities of Success at La Crosse, winning the NASCAR Late Model feature. Kevin Buzzy Adams took the Wissota Modified feature at Rice Lake. At Rockford, Mitchell Garfield won the NASCAR Late Model feature at Shawano. Deja vu over again for last week's winners, Ron Berner in the late models and Connor Walensky in the IMCA Modifieds. Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross at Unadilla Motocross Park in New Berlin, New York. Marvin Muscane swept the 450 motos for the third straight race. American Canadian Tour at Beach Ridge Motor Speedway in Scarborough, Maine. Veteran Northeast racer Eddie McDonald the winner. ARCA Midwest Tour debuted at Golden Sands. Dalton Zier scored his first ever ARCA Midwest Tour win. ARCA Class A Gold Cup Outlaw Super Late Models closed out their season at Flat Rock, Michigan. Jimmy Thiel won the race. Frank Giovanni claimed the championship. ARCA CRA Super Series also at Flat Rock. Brian Campbell won only after Scott Hance got DQ'd for suspension issues. Badger Midgets at Wilmot. Scott Hatton the winner. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series around the North-South 100 Florence Speedway in Union, Kentucky. Tim McCree scored the big victory. Mussey Racing Extreme Sprint Cars at Anderson, Indiana on the quarter mile. Jimmy McCune the winner. Chris Eggleston won the NASCAR Canadian Pro West race at Evergreen Speedway in Monroe, Washington. Day 1 for the Red Bull Global Rally Cross at Bader Field in Atlantic City. Scott Speed scored the win. Shane Zabrowski won the U.S. Modified Touring Series race at Ogilvie, Minnesota. USAC Silver Crown Series ran on the high banks of Salem, Indiana. Cody Swanson the winner. John Canton won the Wissota Challenge Series Late Model Show at ABC Raceway in Ashland. And the big show for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars at the Knoxville Nationals, the $150,000 to win a main for the 10th time, went to Donnie Schatz. Sunday at Angel Park, Billy Baylog won the Badger Midget feature. At Slinger, Alex Prunty won the Super Late Model feature. Ryan Goodneck took the late model feature. NASCAR Pinty Series ran on the streets of Trois Rivières in Quebec, Canada. Former IndyCar driver Alex Tagliani scored the win. Scott Speed won day 2 of the Red Bull Global Rally Cross in Atlantic City. U.S. Modified Touring Series ran in Mason City, Iowa. Ryan Gustin scored his first win of the season. Hadn't raced all week because of cellulitis. And the USAC Midgets at Susquehanna Raceway Park in Newberrytown, Pennsylvania. Justin Grant scored the win. And that'll do it for this edition of the Bremen Rubber Race Report presented by the Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center. I'm Paul Reichert. We'll talk to you folks next week.
That's the Days Inn Burning Rubber Race Report with Paul Reichert, brought to you by the Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center on French Island, La Crosse.
Are you looking for comfort under the sun? You can find that and a whole lot more with your stay at the Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center on French Island, La Crosse. The Days Inn has 148 spacious rooms, an indoor pool, hot tub, fitness room, and plenty of banquet space to host that big meeting or wedding reception. If you're hungry, food and drink are just steps away at the Heroes Bar and Grill inside the hotel. So if you're planning a pool party, wedding reception, or just want a night away in a jacuzzi suite, Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center on French Island is your stop under the sun.
Weir's Machine and Racing Products, Bangor, Wisconsin, a proud supporter of the local racing, celebrating 20 years in the racing industry. From dirt tracks to asphalt, Weir's Machine manufactures over 400 quality parts that racers rely on to win races, producing some of the finest parts in the industry, from engine parts, tools, suspension parts, to race accessories. Head to Weir'sMachine.com to browse their entire line or call them direct. Weir's Machine and Racing Products, Bangor, Wisconsin.
Spring, spring, spring. Now that it's spring, no one wants to sit inside and watch TV with it so beautiful outside. And when you get DirecTV through Dean's Satellite and Security, you don't have to. You can now take your TV with you into the great outdoors with the free mobile app from DirecTV. Going on a picnic? Take your TV with you. Sitting by the lake? Don't miss your favorite show. It's really that simple. Call your local friends at Dean's Satellite and Security today at 608-269-2897 or visit them online at deanstv.com. Now get outside and watch your TV. Content, channels, and functionality varies by TV package, viewing location, and device. Data charges may apply. Conditions apply. Call for details.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Jerry Beyer here, and I'm pleased to announce that we have opened a new location. Now you'll find our Big Boar Cook Shack parked on the corner of George and July Street every Wednesday through Sunday. So come on over and sink your teeth into the barbecue voted best in La Crosse County. Don't forget takeout.
Just come on down for the best food in town at Big Boar Barbecue.
Big Boar Barbecue, that's a mouthful.
There's the white flag. One more lap on Whitetail Crossing Convenience Store Race Report on Cool Gold 1460.
Welcome back, Dan Diker, Billy Doc Niles, Paul Reichard, right here in the Whitetail Crossing Convenience Stores Race Report here on 1460 WPOG. Before we get into our weekly NASCAR chat, I did want to let you know, at the overall Whelen All-American Series point standings, Jacob Gady is 10th in the nation, Nick Panitsky 14th. And the top drivers for Wisconsin, it's Nick Panitsky, Steve Carlson, Cole Howland, Mike Carlson, Brad Powell. If you look at the Division 2 through October 10th, Brett Kane is 7th, Conrad Jorgensen 8th. You got to go all the way back to 57th to get Randy Humfeld. 66 for Brad Worthen.
The problem there is they got the car count for that class up at Elko Speedway, and La Crosse has not had the car count, and that's where you get your points. The bigger the field, the more points the winner gets, and that's just not happening here at La Crosse.
And that's why Adam Moore is 73rd in Division 3. I remember a couple of years ago he was in the top 10.
Yep, that's back when we were fielding 20 to 25 cars. In a season imagine if we had 20 to 25 cars and he was having that season right now. That would be just outstanding. He'd be leading the nation. Also, another race coming up tonight. It's a big one. It's Dells Raceway Park and Billy Doc. Now, some really interesting names winning there last weekend. Yeah, Nick Nolden took over the lead from point leader Chad Miller with 15 laps to go. Ends up winning the feature there. Abe Byers in the Hornets captures his fourth feature of the year. Is within 1 point of Jim Lapp. And, of course, Dave Trout, Mr. Wisconsin.
I've never even heard of that guy before.
He wins his sixth feature of the year, beating Doug Paul and Jason Stark. And if you want to check out some racing action for our friends in the middle of the state down at Dells Raceway Park, tonight they got late models, the Midwest Modifieds, the Outlaws, and the Legends. First green flag drops at 7 o'clock tonight. We'll let you know what's happening at La Crosse here in just a moment. We are winding down the season for NASCAR. Number one, Martin Truex Jr. I don't think anybody would have ever expected him to have the kind of a season he is right now, leading the points for the Monster Energy Drink NASCAR points. I'm looking at the playoffs right here, and I'm looking at the names that have gotten in so far. Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, interesting. Stenhouse Jr., interesting. Even Casey Kane and Jimmy McMurray. Are you surprised the names of Clint Boyer, Joey Logano, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., Billy Doc Niles are not on my other sheet? Well, Logano is through his fault of his own. He does have a win, but it's an encumbered win. Yep. So that's
great word.
And he's been, well, that's the word that NASCAR used. So, but he's, because it's basically a disallowed win. He's in the hole that he's in. He's got to win one of these next three races, or he's not even going to get into the chase this year, which would be kind of a ding on his career. Clint Boyer, he's been close. I mean, he's only 20-some points behind Kenseth. Kenseth and Boyer, I actually thought were two that would have a chance to get in this
23 points separate the two.
Eric Jones, he's so close to a win right now. He could be one to get in and catch one of those last spots. Same thing with Trevor Bayne. Had a good week last week. And you got to give a call out to Chris Buescher last week. He earned that sixth place. He did. He did not fluke into that. So congratulations to Chris Buescher. Why isn't Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the playoffs, Paul Reichert? I think it's hilarious. NASCAR's most popular driver for the 117th year in a row, and he's not in the playoffs?
I know.
You're going to cost us North Carolina listeners, dude.
Yeah, it's just been a year of struggle for Junior in his final year. I thought he'd be doing a lot better, but it's just been a rough go this year.
Who wins when the playoffs are all said and done? Who wins the NASCAR championship?
Well, The way Martin Truex has been racing this year, you got to think him. But, of course, the chase is going to jumble things up, make things interesting. You're going to see people dropping out that shouldn't drop out till the end of the season. Oh, man, I'd like to see Kyle Busch step up and end up in the Final Four and win the championship again.
Billy, same question.
I like Truex myself. I mean, nobody's been as dominant as him this year. Granted, when it comes to that final race, it's going to matter who crosses the line first. It ain't going to matter about a stage. I really think Truex is going to win it, and Truex and Larson are having great seasons right now compared to the rest of the field. Don't be shocked to see one of them two standing there holding the cup in Miami.
I think because those two in the top, Truex Jr. and Larson Jr., are going to be battling so much through this one, bad luck will strike both of them, so neither of them are going to win the NASCAR championship. I'm going with Kyle Busch.
Wow. Aren't you bold?
Yeah. La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway final. I can't believe I'm going to say this.
I can't believe it either.
Final regular season points night tonight. Billy, what's on tap?
Yeah, you got two 20-lap features for the NASCAR late model. Is going to be fun with that 1-point lead. See where Paninsky and Carlson shake out. You also got the Sportsman on tap. Thunder Stocks are racing tonight, and the Street Stocks gates open at 6, qualifying at 6:15. After qualifying, fans will be at its Cornfest weekend. Fans are going to be traded to the Cornfest car show down the front straightaway, and of course the first green flag drops at 7:30 tonight.
Are you going to be there tonight, or you got some other stupid concert to go to?
The wife is talking about going down to visit her mother in Madison. We'll see if I'm still here tonight or not.
See, every time we get this two-person thing going at the Speedway, we build it up. He crushes it by not showing up the following week. Goodness gracious.
Dear. I don't need this stuff. I can go find my kids and get it from them.
Before we get out, JT's Long Shots, where I'm going tonight because I'm going to need my fill of Parmesan garlic. I like the boneless. Billy likes the bone-in wings, by the way.
I love them bone-in wings. They make some great wings there, folks. You have to stop out there. Plus, they have your ticket to the Oktoberfest race weekend. Stop in after the races or anytime during the week with your ticket stub or your pit pass. Put your name and your phone number on the back of it. Drop it in the hopper. This September, JT's Long Shots will pull one of those lucky tickets or pit passes out. That person will win a pair of 4-day passes to the Oktoberfest race weekend. That's JT's Long Shots in historic downtown West Salem.
You know, Paul never goes with you and I there?
Well, that's because I don't know why he don't go. Does he even know where it's at? Have you given him the address?
I don't think he knows how to get out of West Salem besides going from the track and back. I've never seen him do anything else, but, one of these days we're going to drag him in there. Want to thank JT's, all of our sponsors doing a great job getting us through the race season here. Want to thank the Team Dean segment today. Also want to thank the people that showed up on the program. That was Jerry Ellsworth, Dakota Miller, Caleb Ryan, and, of course, Paul Reichert. For Paul Reichert, Billy Doc Niles, and Radio Man Dan Dyker, producer Jesse. We'll see you at the La Crosse Speedway tonight. Support your local short tracks. We're out. This is 1460 WBOG.
There's the checkered flag. Join us again next week for the Whitetail Crossing Convenience Store Race Report on Cool Gold 1460, brought to you by Whitetail Crossing Convenience Stores in Baraboo, Black River Falls, and Toma. By Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem, and 3rd Street, downtown La Crosse. By Dean Satellite and Security, your local DirecTV retailer. By the Days Inn Hotel and Conference Center on French Island, La Crosse. By Dell's Raceway Park in Wisconsin Dells. By Weir's Machine and Racing Products in Bangor, Wisconsin. And by JT's Long Shots Grill and Saloon in historic downtown West Salem. It's the Whitetail Crossing Convenience Store Race Report on Cool Gold 1460.